A woman looked at her father-in-law and instantly knew something was wrong. She couldn't explain it. There were no obvious signs, no clear warnings. But a deep feeling in her gut told her something was off. It was a subtle tension, a feeling that things were not as they should be. This feeling wasn't just a random guess. It was an intuition born from years of experience. This woman was a paramedic. Day after day, she had responded to emergencies, seeing people in their most vulnerable moments. Her brain had been trained, through thousands of encounters, to recognize patterns that most of us would miss. She had learned to see the almost invisible cues that signaled the stressor, slight change in skin color, a barely perceptible shift in breathing, a flicker in someone's eyes. What looked like a mysterious hunch was actually a highly developed form of pattern recognition. Her intuition wasn't magic. It was learned awareness, sharpened by years on the front lines. This ability isn't unique to paramedics. It's a fundamental part of how the human brain works. Your brain is a prediction machine, constantly working to make sense of the world around you. Every second of every day, it's taking in information, scanning the environment, and making guesses about what's going to happen next. Think about it. When you walk into a room, your brain instantly assesses the situation. It notices the people, the objects, the sounds, and it uses all that data to predict what you should do. Most of this happens unconsciously, without you even realizing it. Your brain is building a model of the world and then acting based on that model. It's a survival mechanism that allows us to navigate a complex and ever-changing environment. This constant stream of predictions is the foundation for our thoughts, our actions, and ultimately, our habits. And every single habit we have begins with a cue. A cue is a trigger that tells your brain to go into automatic mode and which habit to use. It could be a sight, like seeing a bag of chips on the counter. It could be a sound, like the notification chime on your phone. It could be a feeling, like the stress you feel after a long day at work. These cues are the starting pistol for our routines. The interesting thing is, you don't even need to be consciously aware of the cue for the habit to kick in. Your brain recognizes the trigger and launches into the familiar sequence of actions without your conscious input. This is why you might find yourself scrolling through social media without even remembering why you picked up your phone in the first place. The cue was there, your brain responded, and the habit took over, all happening below the surface of your awareness. This process of learning from cues is how expertise is built. With enough repetition, your brain gets incredibly good at filtering information and learning what's important. Experts in any field, whether they're chess grandmasters, master chefs, or experienced mechanics, don't necessarily have better brains. They have better trained habits of attention. They've spent so much time in their specific environment that their brains have learned to automatically focus on the most relevant cues and ignore the rest. A beginner might be overwhelmed by all the details, but an expert sees the critical patterns instantly. They notice things others miss, not because they are consciously trying harder, but because their perception has been sharpened through thousands of hours of practice. Their awareness is trained. However, the very same system that makes our habits so efficient can also make them dangerous. The automatic nature of habits is a double-edged sword. When a behavior becomes so ingrained that it's automatic, we stop paying attention to it. We stop questioning whether it's the right thing to do. We just do it. We act first and think later, if at all. This is the autopilot mode that can lead us down the wrong path. We might continue a bad habit for years simply because we never stop to notice the cue that triggers it or the consequences that follow. We become locked into patterns of behavior, operating without conscious thought. Our automatic routines can blind us to better choices and new possibilities. So, if you want to change a habit, the very first step isn't about willpower or motivation. It's about awareness. You cannot change something you are not aware of. You have to bring your unconscious behaviors into the light of consciousness. This means paying attention to the cues that trigger your habits and the routines that follow. By simply noticing what you do and why you do it, you begin to break the automatic cycle. Awareness turns an unconscious action into a conscious choice. And once you have a choice, you have power. You can decide whether to follow the old path or to create a new one. The journey to change begins with the simple act of noticing. Ultimately, your life today is the sum of your habits. And your habits are a product of what you pay attention to. The cues you notice determine the behaviors you perform. If you want to change your habits, you must start by changing your awareness. By learning to see the triggers that shape your daily life, you can begin to take control. In the next video, we'll explore practical strategies for redesigning these cues, making it easier to build the good habits you want and break the bad ones that are holding you back. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it.